In today's video, we're gonna cover how do I use AI for my coding workflows and how do I make apps with Cursor. So let's start, and let's start with how do I plan something. So first of all, when we wanna implement a feature, I basically do some research. If this topic is new, then obviously I need some research, right? I can research basically something like API, something like documentation or books, anything, articles. Maybe this topic is too large, then I watch and read as many resources as I can. So the next thing is planning. So in my head, I'm planning how will this be structured, how will this be organized, where will things live, and all that. So it's basically prototyping, right? So I basically, in simple words, I prototype things, then I'm explaining or basically prompting AI. In my case, it's Cursor. I use Cursor right now. And yeah, we are prompting AI. We are telling all the instructions, everything that we need. And we are telling AI to create a plan, right? Then we go, read the plan. If something is not correct or something is not that I wanted, then we're gonna back right there to prototyping and prompting, and again try another plan or modify the plan or something like that. And then after all that, we're gonna implement thing, and we are basically telling AI implement the plan. So that's my basic workflow. And sometimes it may differ. For example, sometimes I may do only prototyping and telling AI to do this if the feature is not that large. But most of the times I prefer to use plan because it is more clear and you will get your code-based architecture more. And of course, after implementing, we have one more workflow and one more thing to do is to review the code and iterate. So we are reviewing the code, we are modifying something if something is needed to modify, and we are iterating basically until we're ready for commit. And then I prefer to make PR or directly push to my repository. So I tell AI to create PR, and then in our GitHub or any repository, I have some reviewers that review some code, and if I miss something, then they tell me some issues or vulnerabilities or something like that. So let's dive into that on example. And for example, I will integrate payment system into my project, and I'll use Cursor and walk you through all the steps that I make in order to implement some feature. So let's start, and we will start with a basic prototyping. So I've already researched some topic about payment systems, and I generally get how they work. So first of all, let's do some prototyping. For that, I usually use some editor or Neowim right here. So let's open Neowim and let's make some architecture organization layer. You may call it how you want. So I'll create in here a new directory. I'll call that payments, and I'll go to that directory and I'll create new some files that are needed for my Python projects. First of all, it's init.py. If you don't know what is init.py, it's basically a thing that is needed for packages. Basically, init.py ensures that it is packaged and it ensures that all imports are imported. Basically, you can specify all the imports you need in init, and all those imports will be imported. Okay, and so the next file that I'm gonna create, I suppose this will be webhooks, right? And oh no, I forgot to do one thing, and this will be webhooks.py, right? And here we will just implement simple webhook functions, basically for payment APIs or some payment systems. The most basic thing is webhooks. If you don't know what is webhook, it's just in basic words, it's just a system that goes to your server and notifies you with some changes or events. You may call it how you want. And let's do some prototyping. For example, in our tribute system, we only need to receive new subscription or receive cancelled subscription. Or the third thing is receive renewed subscription, right? So I prefer to make my code a little organized, and I think we'll implement some helpers for those webhooks, and then we'll use factories. If you don't know what is factory, is basically when you have different implementations of one thing, and you have these how we call it, this factory, and this factory just takes one concrete implementation, and you may modify factory code as you want. So you may choose any implementation as you want. So let's create something like subscription renewed or new. I'll prefer to call it as in documentation. I don't know yet what will it take, what will this produce. So this is just first of all, in webhooks, this is just our fast API roads. So this is, let's make some comments to I. This is road for fast API, right? And we'll tell use factory here to handle subscription new logic, right? The next thing that I'm gonna implement is called subscription cancelled, right? So again, I don't know what arguments will we have yet. I didn't think about that yet. So we will have here this is road as well. I'm just writing it for explicit, like in order to AI to understand my comments, right? So for fast API, and again use factory to handle subscription cancelled logic. And let's just scaffold a little one more. This will be renewed subscription, right? So subscription renewed, right? This time I will not do anything because I think AI will get me. Here we will import our fast API. So from fast API import fast API, right? Let's define the app. App equals fast API, right? Also, let's prompt it to assign roads here. All right. Or in my opinion, we can actually do a different thing. Yeah, I think we can actually do a different thing, and we will use webhooks and app in separate ways, and I'll show you how. So we'll have webhooks as one file, we'll have app as another file, and here from fast API, import fast API, we are importing our fast API, and in here we will just register the app, right? We will tell this app registration and app configuring, roads configuring, and let's tell AI, wait, I'm not sure, do we need specify concrete roads here? I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure about it. Yeah, and webhook setting up as well. So we scaffold a little of some things. Next, let's create something like, I would say, some concrete provider implementation. In our case, it's tribute. So let's create tribute.py. So tribute payments .py, and in here we'll just have something like tribute subscription or just sub new. We will have something like the same for tribute subscription cancelled. So basically just scaffolding some stuff, right? And we will have thing that tribute subscription renewed. Yeah, this one is important, right? Okay. Yeah, so we created some tribute payments. Now let's create payments factory. As I said, factory is important thing for flexibility. And we will have here just a simple thing. This will be something like get payment or just get subscription new. How will we call that? Callback, right? And basically we'll just tell AI the same for other webhooks, right? And let's tell AI that this is just helpers that process the entire request from tribute, and actual, like, how will we call that? Wiring up, I would say wiring up is in webhooks. In webhooks, use in those like webhook functions, and we are telling that just use that factory, right? So we prompted something, we prototyped something, we created basic structure, just some functions, I would say. So this is really simple, and so I need to ensure that I did not forget anything. Seems like I did not, but maybe also we'll need to handle something else that I forgot. So for this case, let's just prompt our model. I think I'll use Codex 5.3. I could use Composer. I generally use Composer, but for our case, I'll use Codex. So, and I just tell plan, and if I want, I may use some plugins. For example, I like using Potato Mode plugin. This is really good. And I'll just tell make a plan, or just I can voice mode, turn on the voice mode actually. So let's do this. Implement the payments package and follow the instructions in there. I mean, implement the plan for this package, and also ensure that it is clean code, it is secure, it will have no issues or bugs, and make sure you've read the documentation for tribute payments. I will leave documentation right here. So right? Okay. So I prompted it. I'm not sure it is a really good prompt, but this is not really a difficult thing to tell to implement. So and right now we'll just wait for our AI agent to create a plan, and after that we will continue. So guys, let's see what it created. It already created a plan, and let's see. So it just says tribute payments implementation plan. Now let's review that. So first of all, I can see scope and in scope we define that we are working with subscription. That's important. Also, we have two phases. In the first phase, we are building just reliable framework, I would say, and in the phase 2, we are applying those frameworks to the tribute, right? Also, we define what is out of scope, and it's basically creator webhooks, and we don't need that. Also, there is something like tribute signature checking, which is important, and also there are some constraints of retry logic and all that. So first of all, we will like proposed us to have some data shape. So it proposes to have tribute webhook envelope. It is just payload with these fields, then subscription event, cancelled, and all those events. Then we will have payment webhook event in DB, in database. Alright, and we will have user subscription state in database. Yes, I forgot to mention about integrating that into our database, so that's good that it remembered that this is really important. So yeah, I'm generally happy with that. Also, there is through output checkpoint. It's just some instructions for the agent, right? And here we go, the first phase. First of all, we'll implement the app. We will implement all the configuration. We will implement some security. We will implement factory and basically what I said, but plus database integration, right? And at the end, we'll implement Docker Compose. And we will just extend our Docker Compose for the fast API app. Let's go, the second phase, and it's subscription. Here we will implement tribute integration, all state models, all user lookups, utilities for database, all that, testing, verification, code base. Okay, I just told it to adapt our code base, right? Right. Also, there are some principles, and it's basically our potato mode, I mean. And yes. Also, wait, what is this? Before editing unfamiliar subsystem files, run how? Wow, that's interesting. Okay. I don't understand, does it tell it to us, or does it tell it to itself? Right, so let's go and tell it to build the plan, right? So build the plan, I'm generally happy with that. Okay, so let's wait while it is building the plan. So I see it has created some changes, so let's dive in and review them. I usually like to do full screen, and so let's start. First of all, it has changed our code base outside the payment system. It is basically checking if outer router is active. Okay, maybe it has found some issues with that, I'm not sure about it. So some tests about configuration. Alright, it has modified something. Or it is actually alt edits. I'm not really sure. So here we go. It has created configuration for payments, and here we are just getting tribute API key, we are just getting webhook prefix, and we are getting a require signature, which is by default is true. We also have initialize file that imports all the imports. Okay. Also we have payment.py in our database models, and in here we have payment webhook event. In this event, we basically have ID and all data about that event from our basic payment system, and we have provider. First we have event name, fingerprint, payload, signature, all that basically. So send it, process that, state, error, user ID, attribute user ID, subscription ID, basically all that, right? And that is payment event. Yes. The next thing that we have is user subscription state. And here we have user ID, we have statuses, subscription types, attribute subscription ID, Telegram user ID, all that. Oh no, I am lost. So where is this? So yeah, we basically have all those fields that help us to store the information. Then I see it has created some Alembic migration. If you don't know what is Alembic, it's basically a migration system for database. In simple words, if you have some change to database, to some database schema, you just make these database schemas, and Alembic does make sure that all the changes will be applied to production safely. So yeah, the next thing that it has created is in here. Let's continue reviewing the payment. So basically user subscription, it's not that difficult, only some fields. So last scene, name, last event created, alright. Also it's modified user to include the subscription state field, and we see some initializations, right? And look at this, it has created some utilities for database. We basically use utilities for the database schemas, models, to make it easier to interact with all the models. And here we have fingerprint, payload hash, get by fingerprint, all that, getter create, simple things like mark failed, mark ignored, mark unmatched, mark processed, basically all the things that we need. So also create state for subscription, getter create, all that. Some tests here. I don't usually review the tests. Some web tests for webhooks, right? And yeah, where is this? Some initializations, and here we go, main app. In this, we just initialize the main app with this port, and we are running the app with Unicorn. We also have app in payments. In here, we just create an app, right? And we also have something like health that just returns status okay. I think it is for checking status, but I'm not sure why has it created it. Also payment factory as I wanted, and in here some subscription callbacks, right? Some get subscription callback function, dispatch subscription event, right? So yeah, and in dispatch subscription event, we're just getting the callback and returning that, right? Also, we have some security that is basically verifying tribute signature or hash. It is documentation specific thing. We also have some schemas in payments. I'm not sure why has it created it. So it has created some schemas like, first of all, there are some helpers, then it created tribute envelope. It is basically a model. Yeah, this is base model. It has some fields, so I guess this is identical models, right? Yeah, subscription events and all that. Also, there is tribute payments thing, and in here we just have apply subscription event thing. I guess this is just helper. Also, we have tribute subscription new, tribute subscription cancelled, and we're just returning apply subscription event. So let's review the apply subscription event, and we're just mapping fields to our models basically, right? And the next thing is webhooks. And basically in webhooks, we just define webhooks, okay? So here we go, router. Here we go. Payment, get in payment database. Here we go, get session. Parse envelope, all the things, helpers that we need, processing, webhook. Okay, let's review processing webhook. So we're verifying the signature, then we're getting envelope, and after that we're getting payload, we're checking fingerprint, we're creating webhook event, and if it's processed, we're returning duplicate status. If not, if it's ignored or something is wrong, we're getting like ignore thing. Then if it's correct, then incorrect, then we are returning error. And in the end, if everything is correct, we are just creating it. Okay. So also we have something like receive webhook, subscription new, subscription cancelled, basically all that. Right. Also we have .env.example. We have changes to Docker Compose here. Yeah, we have added payments system. It is basically stores our Fast API app, and we modified requirements. So I'm pretty happy with that. And let's click this commit and push button. And yes, so basically we are ready with our current workflow. The rest of things is just to ensure that everything works, and maybe dig more into the logic if you feel like you need to dig more and you don't understand some things. So basically, yeah, that's all my coding workflows for now. It may change with time, with new technologies, all that, with new workflows, but as for now, I prefer this workflow, and I generally I'm pretty fine with that. So thanks everyone for watching me, and see you next video.